Hi guys. Um, Unlike my spiritual or like educational videos, I thought since it's like kind of late on Sunday night, I would share a creepy ghost story with you guys. So my grandma lived in the same house from the like before I was born until I was in my mid 30s. So there was obviously like tons of history in the house and lots of cool things. And for as long as I can remember, people always talked about how her house was haunted, and it's actually where I had like my first paranormal experiences. So, I mean, possibly that's why I love doing this stuff today because of those experiences. So the house was obviously like pretty old, and it was kind of small, but upstairs there was 3 bedrooms, and there was like this one room at the end of the hall that nobody ever wanted to sleep in. And I guess when they first moved in, all the kids fought to not sleep in that room except for my one uncle who didn't really care. He was just very oblivious. So but once her kids grew up and moved out, that room turned into an office, and then a TV room, and then back to an office. And so when I was a child, when I was really small, it was an office, and we used to go and play in there, and we would play hide and seek, and it was like always this super creepy room that nobody wanted to hide in. And if you did hide in there, you hoped you would be found really fast. Um, but when I was probably around 7, I started having recurring nightmares about that room. And I would dream that there was this door just like right in the middle of the room. And there was nothing on either side, it was just standing there. But I knew that if you opened the door, there was something really bad on the other side. So I guess now maybe we would describe it as like a portal, but in my child mind, I thought it was the doorway to hell. Um, and I had that dream like a lot. And I had another recurring nightmare about my grandma's house, and it had to do with her basement stairs, and always me at the bottom, like running up the stairs to get away from something. And you know, in those dreams, when you can never run fast enough, you're like in slow motion. It was like that. So I would kind of bounce back and forth between those two dreams about my grandma's house, which always struck everybody as odd because all of my memories in this house were good. They're all amazing. I loved to be there. I loved to spend time with my grandma. And so it didn't make sense that I would be having like terrible, horrible nightmares that were like traumatizing me as a small child about this space. It was very strange. And then when I was a teenager, I moved in with my grandma for a little while. And so my room was in the basement, and her basement was set up kind of, I mean, it's old. So there was like one room that could be used as a bedroom, and then the rest was like, there was a little living room, and then mostly like storage and laundry stuff. But I mostly stayed downstairs because I was a teenager and I didn't want to interact with grown-ups. So yeah, I was down there one day and I was hanging out in the living room area, and I heard a noise, and I turned around to see who was coming, and I saw like the bottom of a white dress kind of like swoosh around the corner. And I got up and I went to look to see like who is down here, like who's invading my space. And I remember being like just very annoyed that somebody was in my space, but I didn't find anybody. And so I thought it was weird, and I thought maybe I'm confused, or I try to talk myself out of these experiences. But later I was talking to my grandma's husband, and I told him about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's just the lady." And I was like, "Excuse me? What lady?" And he told me, "Yeah, there's a lady, and also she comes with a small child, and they both wear white." And he had seen them in his bedroom a few times. And he said, yeah, he knew that they weren't like living, that there was an intruder, so he would just ignore them and go back to sleep. He thought, like, what else are you going to do, right? So it kind of blew my mind, because I thought up till that point that he didn't even believe in that stuff. So it was crazy. Great bonding experience with your grandfather, right? So yeah, I kind of just, at that point, like, knew I just knew that there was like something in the house. There was other things in that house that, that maybe were aware that we were there, but we weren't totally aware that they were there, or what they were doing, or anything like that. So the woman, she seemed really kind of sad and calm and docile, and so she never really bothered anybody. But that back room had something, and my stepdad was house sitting for my grandma one night, and he was sleeping over, and it was during the time when the back room was a TV room, so he was sitting in there watching TV, and he called my mom, and he said, oh, I can hear like walking around and weird noises and scratching and all this stuff, and there's nobody in the house. I checked, and he was very freaked out, and he's not a believer in the paranormal at all. So it really, really freaked him out. And so we tried to calm him down and stuff, and he was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed. And so he went to sleep in the room that was like a spare room. It's attached to that back room, though. He tried to go to sleep, and he just kept hearing movement and like weird noises. So he gave up sleeping. He's like stayed up all night, and never ever ever slept there again. He refused to house sit for them ever again, because he was really freaked out. And I think it's hard to come to terms with an experience like that when you really desperately don't want to believe that that kind of stuff exists. So I still tease him about it, though, because, you know. Yeah, so over the years, tons of people had these kind of crazy experiences in my grandma's house. And around the time when she decided to sell it, I got my team to come in and investigate, and we went through the whole house, and we caught one EVP and nothing else otherwise. And I was thoroughly convinced that whatever was in the basement or that back room was going to communicate with me, because I had grown up there, and so it knew me. But it didn't. And the person that caught the EVP was another team member, and we never really could figure out what it was. It was kind of a weird noise. It sounded like almost like a squeal, like a pig noise. And it was caught on the camera that he used to always wear a camera on his head, like one of those ear cameras, just in case. He caught it on that, like when he was near the furnace. So nothing weird ever happened there, so I have no idea. And then shortly after that, the house was cleansed, and then she sold it, and then they tore it down, and now it's gone, and we'll never know what happened. If there's like something there, if, you know, there's new houses there now, so maybe they're haunted. Who knows? But yeah, that's my creepy story about my grandma's amazing house. It really was a great space to be, even though it had something evil in the back room. But it was a fun place to be. I have lots of great memories, and I do miss it. But I also wonder if the new homes that were built on that land got some spirits, or if the spirits moved on when the house was torn down. I have no idea. Yeah. So if you have any scary stories, I want to hear them. Send them to me, comment, let me know. I want to hear all about them. I love ghost stories. And if you have any questions about hauntings or paranormal stuff, or my grandma's creepy house, let me know that too. And otherwise, have a super nice evening and a good start to your day tomorrow, or today if it's tomorrow today for you. And yeah, I'll be back at some point soon with a video on tarot cards. So hopefully you guys are super excited to learn about tarot cards. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night. Bye.